Hello, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining in today. And I'm going to introduce you to an global citizen. I call her a global citizen because she is truly a global citizen, and she's an author where she's written a very interesting book, which is called "Where the Sun Sets in East or Not at All: Memoirs of a Wandering Soul." Now, let me introduce you to all of you to Rebecca Dahl. She is raised in Ranches country of Montana. She loves traveling the world, learning about cultures, history, education systems, and student learning and quality living. She has experienced cultures in 140 plus countries. She has earned masters in education degree, leadership and counseling. Her inspiration of life is working with youth, and that's what the book talks a lot about. She's expert on cultural integration and role of different cultures uh, in life of youth. So thank you, Rebecca, for joining in today on the show. And we're going to talk a lot about book. But first thing, I want to talk about the name because your name is very interesting name. So you say where sun sets in east or not at all, which looks very, unique in nature because we always know that sun rises in east, not sets in east. So what's the name about the book?
Well, yes, the Sunsets in the East was when I was in my home state of Montana, driving home one evening, and the entire sky was red, just like on the book, because I didn't edit this photo at all. And I just thought, wow, it's just like the sun is setting in the east because the sky was so red. The whole sky was red. So that stuck in my mind for some years. And then I moved up and lived in the Arctic Circle for some years. And there was, of course, the 3 months where the sun didn't set at all. And so it just sort of became an example of our world.
Awesome. And yes, I've heard a lot. Someday I would like to travel with you there and, look at sun in the night, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the night, looking at the sun to experience something unique on the earth.
Well, and the kids that would play outside at 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. It didn't matter.
Didn't matter yet. So it's one of my bucket list to go and see that with my own eyes. And I'm very happy to talk to you because I'm really inspired the way you lived your life and you've traveled more than 140 countries. Sometimes people know, oh, are there many countries? Yes, there are many. And I know you are covering many more. But there's another very powerful word you've written in your book title called wandering soul. So can you define? Because I know there are a lot of wandering soul around us. Some people suppress them and they try to stick to a place or something. But what do you mean by wandering soul and how do you erupt that out and live the life of flow?
I even did it as a child, just interested in places and people, and our father took us traveling a lot, so that made a difference too. We got to see a lot of the U.S. Through the travels that he took us on. So I just realized there's a world out there, and it was there for me to explore.
Yeah. And I know you have traveled to very deep forest reservations to the busiest cities of the world. So would you like to share one or two examples of your you living in reservations? And I remember you sharing with me personally, but I was enjoying so much. I want all the listeners to listen to.
In terms of the reservations,
Yeah, reservations. You said the kids didn't even know the world is out there, and they live very.
oh, well, that was up in the Arctic Circle where
Okay.
um, they they hadn't left their village, and so one of our ventures with them at the school was to raise some funds and get the bush planes and take them to another village. And they were just totally fascinated to meet other people that were the same age and size as they were. So it was a good venture for them.
Okay. And let's talk about a little bit of your journey being an educationist. So why did you decide to, come into the field of education? Because I know you could have done a lot of other things in your life, but you decided to be working with youth and changing their life and getting the, global perspective to your life. Why education?
Probably because it is a pathway to help them find uh, the value and the worth of their own lifetime. And it started in a one-room class where I had grades 1 through 8 in the same class. And so it was just all of us working together and how we could support each other and be a team together. And I just realized, beginning then, the value that that had for young people having experiences, not just academic in terms of their skills, but also experiences of life skills. And so it was just, it was so rewarding to see the difference it made in young people that I just kept doing it.
Hmm. Okay. And can you share a little bit more about your work in the field of education? I know you work with a couple of countries and you've lived a lot of contributed a lot in UAE too. So would you like to share a little bit more about your work in education?
Yes, and like I said, it started out, I was a teacher's aide in a one-room classroom, grades 1 through 8. That got me interested in finishing my university degree and becoming a certified teacher. And then I went back to the ranch country and I taught in the one-room classroom with just grades 5 through 8 in one room. And so it was just such a rewarding experience at that time. And so I just decided to continue and I stayed in the ranch country for some time. I then did different schools in Montana, but it was the reservation schools I was most interested in. And so I had that experience because it also let me learn about the culture and about that perspective. And then I did different parts of the United States. The Plains people are the reservation people in the Montana, Dakota, and Wyoming areas. And then I went to the southwestern ones and could see the difference between the southwestern and the Plains people and understanding how much impact that environment had and in their culture and their way of living. And so then I went on up to Alaska to experience those indigenous people and learn from them. And then I got the opportunity to go international
Wow.
and, and decided to do that. So education was a pathway that for me to travel and learn and experience cultures,
I
and
want to
at the
talk.
same time
Yeah.
make a difference for those who experience the education system.
I want to talk a lot about culture with you, but one more question I have. I know you have done a good work and your contribution to education systems in UAE too. So would you like to talk about your contribution, your work in UAE for the schools?
Yes, the work in the schools in the UAE was very rewarding because it was through the ministry and it was with the government schools and with the local principals and students. And so it was a
Mm.
great learning experience for me to be able to be part of that and and yet help them to bridge into uh, the educational system that was more global.
Yeah,
It
and
was,
I really feel that the way you're traveling and education, learning about culture, it would contribute a lot to UAE in schooling because I personally feel, though I've not traveled as much as you, but you can also vouch for it that, the kind of cultural variations you can see in the country like UAE or Dubai, where you can find people from across the world, teachers from across the world, and it's a multicultural environment. And understanding the difference of cultures and adopting the best of all the cultures actually happens really well in UAE compared to the world. Do you have any thoughts on that, or do you want to add something here?
The most important thing I would add is that um, acknowledging the students' culture. And if you go into a school, that's one of your first responsibilities to is to learn the cultures that the students represent and know how to honor that and enhance that for them so that they are proud of who they are.
So, another question on the culture. You've seen so many cultures, and I know when you go to a country or a place, you try to go as local as possible for your quest to learn. Maybe a lot of world culture looks different, but I know they are same in some way. So, would you like to touch upon similarities of different cultures and people, uh, which uh, which would prove that we are in a with the one world as one family, something like that?
Well, we are one world, and it's very interesting that we as people, no matter what culture I go into, when I interact with the local people, we're all the same and we enjoy learning from each other and with each other and sharing with each other. And then we wonder, why can't our whole world be like this?
It's a one world, one family. So now, one question from people who are listening to us right now, and they may be moving to a new country and a new culture, and sometime the fear triggers in. How will I adjust a new culture, new country? Any advice to them to adopt a new culture faster or get integrated in the culture faster?
Well, the first thing you have to do is care and care that you are going into a new culture and you have that responsibility to learn about it and to how to respect it, how to integrate it, and how to honor it and learn from it. And then how to share your culture so that uh, they understand that more too.
So all the listeners, I want you to definitely go and read this book. You can go to Amazon in your country, wherever you are, and look for her name, Rebecca, or name of the book. And we'll also put the description to buy the book in the description box. This is the cover. Just look for this cover. Nice pink red cover. Why I love that book because it starts with the memoir style where she's sharing her journey about her childhood and her interest to travel and cultures. But if you read the book later, it moves towards the education system and youth, empowerment of youth. That's where, it takes a twist. Her entire cultural knowledge of the world impacting the youth in a positive way. That's what the book is. So if you're an educationist, you're a school principal, school teacher, you're a student living in a multicultural environment, or you love reading, you should go and buy this book, Where Sun Sets in East, or not at all.
Well, yes, and it's led to another one because, like you said, it started out as a memoir, but as you looked at the impact of the culture and the education system and all, that was another whole pathway, and I will be expanding on that.
Yeah. So all the listeners, she's writing a second book soon. It will be available, and that entire book is majorly focused towards education system. So a lot of governments, a lot of education institutes can actually use her knowledge to improvise their systems in the schools and colleges. So thank you, Rebecca. First of all, share share your knowledge with the world in the form of books because books are legacy. So it is going to be there for a couple of thousand years. So people would learn from your books or our books. So let's move to the educational institute. Whether you have a cultural diversification or not, multicultural diversification or not, what is the role of cultural integration or role of cultures in any educational institute?
Well, role of culture, the most important thing is that it validates the student's identity. and that makes a difference in how the students respond to the education system and the educators.
Wonderful.
That's
Mm.
very
And
important.
people may feel that, we have people in the same country, but I think every house is a different culture.
Yes, and the other thing, I mean, in today's world, we have to still connect it to we have become a global world too.
Yeah.
So, we have our culture, we have our identity, we have our responsibilities to that and to our community, but also to our global world.
And with the digital world coming in, and we live in the world of mobile, any of the boundaries of the world has gone down, and we interact a lot with people across world. So I think role of culture becomes very, very important. And one very important thing you told is just care and learn more about the culture, and uh, you'll win the world, and you'll have good friends coming from all over the world. Now let's move to your cover. Let's move to cover. I focused on the name, but all the viewers, listeners, the photograph on the front cover and on the back cover is a very, very special photograph where Rebecca took this photograph herself, and we used that for the cover. Would you like to share quick story about both the photographs and where it is from, and uh, how did you get it?
Um, yeah, the front cover is based on from my deck and my home in Montana. And so I see this every day when I'm there, how the sun sets and how it rises. And this was just one that I happened to take. I have quite a collection of photos.
This
I
is
don't do anything with them. They're just, this is it.
it was this photograph is her backyard photograph for her house in Montana. So which she sees it every day. Now, whenever she travels, because of the book, she sees it every day now too. So uh,
Yes, and then the back cover is also in my home state, and that's just a reflection of a mountain on a lake that was just smooth as glass, and it was like a mirror reflection.
mm,
And so I had to take that photo.
yeah. So that's the personal information, and a lot of learning from her life comes to the book, and that's what this May books makes it a very, very, very perfect, or rather, my favorite book from my book rack. I've read it too. So uh, I'm excited for our second book too. Now let's talk about book writing journey. Now, Rebecca, you are a senior author. You've written one, you're writing two, second one. There are a lot of authors out there who think of writing, and they think someday I will write, or they start writing, but they get interrupted in between. Do you have any advice for them about writing, as in, how can they finish what they started, or if they're not started, why should they start? Any advice to the newbie authors who are planning to write or writing?
Well, we all have a story to share, and um, we need to believe in that. I think the turning point for me, because I did write quite a bit throughout my years, just little things, was discovering the Wings publication, which was a group of people who had the same idea about one, or not idea, but the same desire to want to write a book. And Dr. Kalish and his team pulled us together, and we met on a weekly basis and kept each other doing it. So just that framework and that accountability and that sharing with others made a difference for those of us that were part of that group,
Wow.
and completing our books, because we did all complete our books.
Wonderful. That's the power of community. When we try to do things together, we win fast.
Mhm. Yes.
Thank you for believing in the concept. And any special memories you have in the process of writing, which came out in the process, and sometime you feel, wow, where does it come from? Oh, it's so old memory, something pops up back. Any Any aha moments or wow moments in the process of writing do you want to share with us?
I think the crowning aha was completing the book. It was
Full.
like, whoa, wow, I actually did it,
Wow.
and I can do it again. And so actually having a book in print and with your name on it was like, aha, I can do this.
Wonderful. And I know putting the last full stop and I know I'm done. It's like, sense of achievement that I have done it. And for all of our authors, but I'm an author too. It was a long desire. And I know you were in school or college when you decided to write. That's what I remember. Uh, it was a long desire to write and finish the book.
And I think that once you do it, it's just the beginning.
That's right. You enjoy.
Yes, it's
But
just the beginning.
one more question. I know last time your book was appreciated at Sharjah International Book Fair too, and you met a lot of people just because of the book. A lot of people know that you're an author. Do you see any shift in people's perspective when they look at you as an author now? They know you from maybe long time, or they know you new now because they know you. But when they know that you're an author, do you see any change of perspective in people's thinking about you?
I think you do. And then, of course, being away from my home state, I get little messages about woo, woo, and we didn't know we had an author among us, and just they're little happy surprises. Uh, and I think the same thing here, and or when I go somewhere where people know me, it's like, oh, wow, you did it. How'd you do it?
I remember on the Sharjah International Book Fair, a lot of school admin heads and people from school used to come and ask about you and about your book. So uh, I think people are noticing and they're appreciating your efforts of writing a book and publishing a book.
Yeah, I think the most important part is as I tie the second book into this one, I think it may draw some young readers into uh, being a little bit curious about uh, how I did that in my perspective of education,
Yes.
because they all experience education and have their perspectives, and to have somebody that writes about it, it would be of interest to them to see if their thinking and their intuitive thoughts about it are correct or not.
And another thing is because your style of writing is a story, so you are sharing a story. So it's very engaging. When you read, you want to know more because there's a story going, and everything you explain is a story, which makes very easy to read, and it is very
Yeah.
engaging in the when I was reading, I was engaged. I wanted to know more, and that's what kept me going on the book, and that's one of the very powerful thing as an author what you've done.
Yes, and I think where I have so many English as a second language people and experiences, they appreciated the short chapters.
Yeah,
Uh, it just was like, oh, okay, this is I can do this. I can read this. It's only a few pages for the chapter.
we need a sense of achievement. You finish a chapter. Oh, I've done a chapter. Now next one. So it
Yes,
keeps you motivated to complete the book. Uh,
yes.
uh, one last question from my side is: I know you have important people in your life who've been supporting your life and friends and family. Would you like to give gratitude to a few people who've been strong pillars in your life, and as well as in the book writing journey? Do you want to share your gratitude on camera with all of us?
Oh, that's so broad. Yes. So, yeah, no, I think that um, there's just been so many special individuals that have made a difference. And of course, I have two daughters, and they are sort of my pillars of love and strength and peace, um, and family. And there's just so many. And I think when you share with others and they're comfortable sharing with you, you all become special to each other.
Wow, wow, wonderful. I know you personally. I know so many people are, are contributing because you are a big contributor, Rebecca. I know wherever you go, you add value. You are a person who gives, who loves giving. So, and that's where the book also comes in. You want to give back to society, and that's where the second book comes in. You want to give back to the education system. So you're a giver, and that's why you have a lot of people in your life. And thank you very much for writing your book. Thank you very much for trusting us. Thank you very much for trusting Wings Publication on your journey on writing two books. And we would like to soon call you for the next round of interview on education system on your second book too. So, and I know you got time out today. You spoke to us. Thank you for giving your time to me, to my viewers, and all of us. Thank you.
Well, then thank you and everyone.
Okay, bye bye everyone, and see you soon again for the next round of interview. And we'll bring another interesting, powerful authors from our publication. And one last shout out from my side. Look at this cover, where the sun sets in east or not at all. It's a nice, beautiful pink color cover. Go to Amazon, whether in US, Canada, Japan, Australia, Germany, UAE, India, wherever you are. Just go search the book from the name of the book or name of the author. Buy this book, read the book, because this is going to give you a essence of cultural amalgamation of 142 cultures she visited, impact on youth, impact on systems, and it's a storytelling. So you'll enjoy reading the book. Thank you very much, and bye bye, all of you. Bye bye. Bye bye, Rebecca. Bye.